Friday. It's
Friday.
420. I'm Steve Gieder, your host with the most weed from coast to coast. And I invite you to come with me into the cannabis. As I talk to my guest today and we go on a little adventure, Wendy Baker with Space Jam. And Space Jam 10 years.
Woo!
How you doing, Wendy? How you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm down here at the Gondry in Mactown, the birthplace of Space Jams here.
It is the birthplace of Space Jams.
And we have this amazing signage up there.
I know, like extended other thoughts.
That we were blessed to get. I know G, I think saw one and was like, we got to get that, man. This is Wendy's the shit, like we got to get that. So thanks so much for hooking that up. But thanks for joining today.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's kind of like an honor. And I'm
Same.
stoked you asked me to interview me and stuff. We've known each other for years.
It's true.
Yep.
This program I started really on a personal note to kind of get to know people that I've known, but even get to know them better. There's Giesel. What up, Giesel?
What's up, G?
Come say hi, G. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too, G. You look great. I love the beard.
Right?
Oh,
You like that,
part
right?
of my story too. G's part of my story too.
What'd you say?
I said you're part of my story too.
Thanks. Love
Yeah,
it.
totally. The journey.
Yeah, we couldn't have community without you and I. So,
yeah. Total community.
Yeah. But no, it really is all about that. And that's what's fun about these conversations is really just like getting to know people and introducing the greater community to what it is that makes people tick a little bit or who people are and what they're doing. And so, yeah, again, thanks for being a guest today on Into the CannAbyss. And yeah, I'd love to learn more about what you've been up to. We were at an event recently together where I noticed you were kicking some ass with some awards, which I don't go to a lot of the award events, so I don't really know who wins all the time.
Yeah.
But to me, I just would have assumed that you like won first place already and all this stuff because I know Space Gems has had such an impact on the industry and the community before the industry that I just assume, yeah, Space Gems must have won first place at the Emerald Cup before.
Yeah, it's so crazy. Everyone says that, and everyone says that, and it's like, actually, no, we haven't.
Right.
Sometimes
like awards help people get a status, but really your status was built, not bought, and it was something that I don't know. Tell us more about it. But from my perspective, I've seen you working really hard with your brand on the community level to build, a grassroots brand takes a lot of hard work.
Yeah, I am so grateful for Space Jam. Like, I feel like it came at a time in my life where I was probably like the lowest, just at that time and trying to figure out what to do, And then when you're trying to figure out what to do, you journal, you write things. And that is how Space Jam was born, like out of that part, Definitely there was like influences to see, But yeah, I never won first place like that before. The only other time I ever won first place was the Humboldt County Cup, and I got to go on stage. That was like the first time I ever got to go on stage. And even at the High Times Cup, we won first place. But it was Easter, and I wasn't able to go. I wasn't able to be there. So that Emerald Cup win was like meant a lot to me, and it's like something that I've always wanted to be first in, and I've never been recognized until, yeah. And in previous years too, that I've won second or third, they're like, "Oh, we already thought you won first." And I was like, "No, I haven't. Like, I have not won first." And yeah, there's just been many times of going to those events and not winning, and just the feelings and how that comes up, and how here in Humboldt, like, we're just like separated from the rest of the state, and it's just so easy to think that your product is the best, like, because it's the best here, which is amazing. And
Yep.
it's like, world renowned and everything. But how can you make it the best other places too?
Right.
Be
No,
recognized
yeah,
with.
that's a great point because a lot of quality comes out of our community here, and but I could tell, before I jump onto that, I just want to say I could tell by your excitement on the stage there and stuff. I could just, you know, I could feel that excitement, and the energy behind that, and I was like, hell yeah, just like yelling shit up there and stuff, and like the pride that you have for people that you've done this shit with very directly through all these years, and then boom, I was just like, oh shit, all right, Wendy, hell yeah, Mactown. I was yelling out, Mactown.
I heard that.
And because that, like, here we are, we're in McKinleyville. Most people never don't know nothing about McKinleyville, but
Yeah, that's true too.
McKinleyville's been the birthplace of many genetics, many techniques for indoor growing, for manufacturing, cultivating hash, rosin.
Yeah.
It was probably more people in McKinleyville per capita that grew their own weed than any other community in the entire world, if I was to guess. And
Yeah.
so that's something people don't know about, but that's how I know you.
Yeah, I know, in a 3-car garage, like, you gotta think about that, like, how did you do it? I had a 3-car garage,
Oh yeah, you're one of the few. Most people were lucky if they had a two car, but
I know, right?
and that's how it was, driving through, say, the Heartwood section in McKinleyville back in the day, where you could tell most people had like a broken down car in the driveway, or at least they parked it there forever to make it look broken down. So it wasn't shady that the garage door never opened or closed. It's like people just been blowing it up in this town, and like I'm right in the parking lot where North Coast Horticulture Supply opened, which was a store that I started and ran. But the point of the story is really that that store supplied this community of like 15,000 people with way more grow supplies and hash making machines than I can't imagine there's anywhere in the world that would even light a torch, light a flame or a match at all to McKinleyville's just indoor gardening and hash making prowess.
I know, it's
What do you think?
crazy. My oldest son, Atreyu, I mean, has like stories about that store. You used to have like a little skate ramp and, like the little candy machine. Like there's like things about that store. Yeah, it was a part of our community, and it wasn't frowned upon the fact that I brought my kid there every day after school, or that's just what you did.
We tried to
Yeah,
make it as comfortable as we could for everyone, and just being open and communicative really invites that kind of just community environment where whether the kids sat out in the car or they were skateboarding in the parking lot or they came around back and climbed on the pallets or they were down the aisles, knocking shit off the shelves or whatever it is, like that's what made it what it was to me. It was like the center of the universe. So
yeah,
uh, we could just that's where we always met. At least for me, it was like
yeah,
we met at the grow shop. We talk about what's going on. What are you doing this weekend? How are things going? What do the prices look like? What kind of clones you got? What are your kids up to? How's the dogs? How
yeah,
are the neighbors? Who's shady out there? Who we avoid? Who's new in town? All this kind of like talk used to happen quietly around the counter when nobody was talking, or down the aisle next to the bone meal.
next to the boat meal. Yeah, I know that's true. The back guanas and the side corner over there.
Instead,
Yeah,
now, we get to have these conversations here in this format, but also like live on the stage. Um, when you make it to that point, when you have a brand that actually becomes recognized statewide, at least, it changes that whole paradigm of like being a big fish in a small pond in
yeah,
Humboldt, like you're saying, versus being a big fish in the biggest pond in the world, the California cannabis marketplace.
yeah, totally. It really does. It's like so crazy too. Like people who recognize me, you know. I was just like eating Thai food in Santa Rosa, and with my kid. my 6-year-old, and he was like totally not being the nicest. And my partner took him out. Casey took him outside, and then these two guys. Then all of a sudden they're like, "Hi, Wendy, we love you. You're a legend," and like said all this stuff. And I was like, "Why couldn't you say that in front of my kid?" Like he was like, "Man, that I wouldn't get him a Sprite," you know. And he like wouldn't let it go. We don't drink soda, you know. So yeah, I was like, I realized that I made an impression, or people have seen me in some form of a way from standing in front of my booth for 10 years. Like it is crazy to think. And how I was before and to how I am now,
Yeah. Like 10 years is a long time to do anything. And in business,
Yeah.
if you do the same kind of business plan for 10 years, it's like you really you've made it to where, 90% of businesses or more never get to, right? So it's like definitely less than 1 out of 10 businesses make it 10 years,
Oh my God, which is crazy to think. Oh my God. What is that, the 10%? Or is that the 1%? What is that?
Something. I don't know the exact percent, but it puts you in a good position to make it
I
20.
guess that's the 1%. 10. Yeah, that'd be one.
Yeah. I don't know the exact number. I did look it up at one point. I pay attention to some of these, business numbers and stuff. But
I would hope so, Steve.
how much did you know like about business really before like getting into the biz? Do you have any kind of schooling or formal training around business, or even you know uh, after high school, or anything like even during high school? Any kind of what do you got?
What? Okay, so like just schooling wise, like high school and stuff,
Yeah,
I did like those business classes just to get out of school early,
yeah,
so I'll
yeah,
definitely say I did that stuff. I'm really good with numbers. I
yeah,
like numbers and I talk numbers. Like I don't talk feelings or emotions. Like I'm very like numbers, like, to make
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Not the fact that I take those numbers and actually like I'm like, this is still a good idea. This is still a, like I
Yeah.
still think like it'll work out. The numbers will
It
work
helps you
out.
verify. It helps you verify and keep on track. And yeah,
Yeah, or just like, okay, yeah, how to make it work,
yeah,
But obviously growing weed,
yeah,
for like I was like trying to do the math. I think for like 12 over 15 years.
yeah,
Just like growing weed, learning like about the money, about getting paid, how
yeah,
you make that money stay,
yeah,
how you work to get more money, or
yeah,
you know, uh, investments in equipment, stuff like that.
yeah,
I had a clothing company too,
yeah.
so like a hemp clothing company, and I feel like I learned a lot. I had a store, like a little clothing store. I tried.
Yeah,
I tried different things, that
yeah,
like didn't work out, but I know why they didn't work out. Um, and
yeah,
that is kind of like doing that whole clothing thing is like, okay, if I sell a small product at like a low price point, then I could get more. It could like work. That's what I
right.
saw.
That makes
First,
sense. Yeah. So
but obviously whatever I thought at that moment, is a little bit different rather than selling like $100 hoodies or,
yeah,
yeah.
it's all building blocks and steps that we take, and like I could see the evolution of that as you just explained that. It's like, oh yeah, okay. Um, you
Yeah.
you self-taught yourself and learned business dynamics and finances from other people in the community too, but through growing a little bit and hustling, and then having
Yeah.
your
And
clothing
I
company
mean,
and running the shop. And yeah, that totally makes a lot of sense. Yeah,
yeah, but just like Space Jam or whatever is just like totally, and I could like look back and be like, oh, I could see myself as a candy person, but I couldn't before or whatever, however
right,
that
right.
changed that.
That like evolution or like transition um, was a big part of your life, it sounds like. And you know
Yeah, like it. totally, there's definitely huge influencers. Obviously, I was like, when we tried to do the thing yesterday, and I talked about Bang. My best friend used to
Yeah.
work for Bang.
Yeah.
And that was a chocolate company, and I'm all about cannabis. Obviously, I love cannabis. Cannabis has been a huge part of my life and has supported myself and my oldest son. So I know the space show. Oh my god, I'm so excited. um, but and I feel like it's yeah. So I couldn't. I knew I wanted to create something to be of service, and I started reading that Course in Miracles. That's how I started getting really into A Course in Miracles, and it's like you write every day. And that's what has come out of it. Space Jam came out of me doing the Course in Miracles, the
That's
whole long gear thing, and you read every day. And you just
uh-huh.
find parts of yourself that you love, and
Cool.
you conquer fear, right?
That sounds good. I'm not familiar with that specifically, but it sounds like a manifestation tool
Yes,
in some way,
just
right?
yeah, when you're down and you're feeling you like want to change, like what we do in those moments of
Yeah.
rock bottoms, what it
Yeah.
looks like. Yeah, totally.
Awesome. So, like, so the name Space Jam. Then tell me more about the name. Like, how that become the name?
Oh my god. So that is like obviously I'm gonna just like talk about, like the evolution of Space Jam of,
Yeah.
just because uh being my boyfriend at the time was like a huge part of the glass community and like bought pieces, bought glass, bought rigs, huge
Yeah.
dabber,
Yeah.
went to High Times Cups, like went to Cups just to see.
Yeah.
So that had like a big influence on Space Jam also.
Yeah.
But also just the glass community of like talking to glass blowers, being around them, seeing them create a craft, and be an artist to
Yeah.
say,
Yeah.
without
Excellent.
drawing. Like, some of them don't draw, they draw on the glass and stuff. But I was at Redwood Dave's house, and smoking, dabbing on his couch. I feel like if you're part of the glass community, we've all done that in some form of a way. And I made these candies and he was like all about them, but he really liked gummies. So that's a huge part of the story too. He's like, I really like Sour Patch Kids. I can't eat the candy, like my teeth, hard candy and stuff. But he showed it, I guess a person from HPRC came over and was dabbing on his couch because that's what we all did. And they were interested. So they said I could bring it down to HPRC and they would like to get them.
Yeah.
So I went down there, I showed it to them, and they were like, okay, we'll buy them, but you have to create a name and you have to have packaging and like a label,
Yeah.
I went from that meeting to Humbrew's actually,
Yeah.
and was with Josh, and I said, he's like, well, what do you want to call it? I was like, well, they're like gems that take you to space. So gem space. He just switched it around. I will say, I will give that Josh. I'll give that to Josh. Josh switched it around to space gem. Yes.
Cool. Cool. That's
I guess that was
awesome.
like a long, but that's like the story of it.
That's a great story. No, that's a
Oh,
great
because I
story.
don't ever talk
Want
about
to know
Redwood
all the
Dave, but he
details.
is really part of my story too. And
Yeah.
I don't want to like deny that. And yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Josh is great, and I always remember just back in the day, you guys just kind of cultivating all that herb and candy together.
Well, the candy's totally mine. Not
Yeah,
with
no, I know.
Josh at all. Josh had nothing to do with the candy.
100%, 100%.
Yeah, I'm like, Josh had nothing to do with the candy, but he did grow the best herb. Like, I do have to say, he grew really, really good indoor herb. Like, it's pretty amazing.
Great, great. It's a great source to have to make medicine from, right?
But it's also like, yeah, I mean, also like a great critique. He was like really into candy. That's how I started making candy. Is Christmas I had to make him fudge one year, and so yeah, that's how like the whole candy stuff started.
Right on. Cool. And And right now, like, how many different types of like candies do you have? Are they all gummies, or do you make some hard candies, or what do you have that's out there?
Oh no, I just have gummies right now. I don't like before. I used to do like I just wanted to do everything, right? Build your IP. That was like my whole thing. Is like try. We're not legal yet. Like just try, build everything. So I tried everything. You
Yeah.
know.
Through the
Yeah.
years, I remember I've tried lots of different, different things. G always had the latest and greatest of whatever you guys had often, and
Yeah, you know, like unicorn lollipops. I tried to make them like pretty and like artistic, you know, and like with different colors. Yeah, I used to have like all the stuff because
unicorn
it was
lollipop. Like, that
handcrafted,
sounds dope. Yeah,
you know, like it was all handcrafted, which is like so crazy to think too.
yeah. A lot of work goes into each one of those things.
I used to cut those gummies with like a little hole puncher, like at night, just sit there, and cut them, because like, yeah, gummies aren't where they like the gummy equipment isn't where it wasn't where it is now, you know?
Right, right. Even 10 years ago, huh?
Oh, dude. And to find out how to decarb, how to do all that stuff isn't where it was, you know?
Right. Yeah, there wasn't as much shared information, and that's one thing good about legalization is just the shared information and uh,
Yeah.
putting processes to work and stuff. Kind of.
I know. Definitely putting processes to work, SOPs. Can't do this.
Yeah. Well, you
It
make
works.
gummies were something that were always like, you always get like, gummies from a friend or whatever from the Legends Market there, and a lot of times like they're slimy or they're too hard, or it's kind of a thing. There's a science to that every company seems to go through, but at this point, you make like some of the most consistent, delicious gummies that I've ever had. They're kind of the only ones I really eat when
Oh,
you know.
well, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that is like, it is hard because here we live in Humboldt where it's like a rainforest, right? You
Yeah,
know, like, you know, and then the rest of the state can be a desert or other things. And yeah, there has definitely been a learning process about the stickiness. Like, because I
yeah,
don't want to use like a carnauba wax or I don't know, like other cornstarch or something. I don't know.
yeah, yeah.
I would
Kind
just rather have a slimy gummy than like impurities, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, right on your package it says vegan, solventless, and cosmic. I love that. I love your branding, and you've always been interested in putting the very best of what you can find into your gum.
Yeah.
Then you get into this like legal market where you got all these uh, less than desirable, we'll call them, other brands and gummies and stuff that aren't even they don't even taste good, or they're just a weird consistency and stuff. So but then you have all these stores that are fighting over price, and people want you to sell it to them cheaper to keep up with the crappy gummies out there. So I appreciate what you're doing and still showing up with the quality and consistency. And like we want to see ice water hash, solventless, delicious vegan
Mm.
gummies forever. So um, what kind of plans do you have for the future, if any? With I mean, obviously, you don't want to give like
Oh, it's all good.
away like that, but with like, do you have other flavors or different products or anything like that, or do you like to focus on what you have and try to get into more spots, or what's your future expansion if there is for Space Jams?
Man, yeah, I feel we just like got into a new facility and it has been an interesting transition. You know, I don't want to say I feel uh yeah, you know, I definitely feel like I'm in a new space on another level, you know, of
Yeah,
just like the fact I started in my home, the
yeah,
fact that it was me as a team member, like,
yeah,
you know, for many years to go to like two people, then went to a trailer, you know, had
yeah,
five people, and
yeah.
now there's like 17, you
Wow.
know,
All
and
right.
so and 4,500 square feet, so we just went from 1,000 to 4,500.
Yeah.
So these are all awesome, amazing things that have happened. Like there's an actual office now rather than, like someone cramping their legs under a cabinet,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Awesome.
I would love to make more products and I would love to like grow. Definitely as this time and cannabis is changing, that we're seeing. And with everything that's just going on, right? Like
Yeah.
we're out of COVID, like things are changing, like inflation is crazy right now,
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I think that we are just gonna, this is the 10th year, so I feel like all this stuff is like coming up for me personally, also,
Yeah.
just like working my life away, of like not dealing with emotions or dealing with like stuff, just
Yeah.
working because, but just, these next levels of what it's gonna look like. Do I want to make that crossover to be, that, or do
Yeah.
I just like want to stay where I am and just grow it this way,
Yeah.
because yeah, like what is it? I do really struggle with that, what is it to be number one? What does that look like? Is that just, are you selling your soul? Are you not? Like this all
Yeah.
has to be a perfect situation, like
Sure. Those are all big decisions and take time to decipher and like yeah, those are great things to be thinking about. You're thinking about the future. When you get to like a 10-year point, we'll say, right?
yeah,
I've had a 10-year point of a couple,
yeah,
but in business that I started, I got to a 10-year point, and I'm trying to like remember how that felt,
yeah,
and it's like for me, I felt like I had accomplished something, so I knew enough to do that again or something similar, but there was all this uncharted territory of like
yeah,
what I could do next with that
yeah,
vessel that was built, right?
yeah,
So like, where do we take the rocket ship next?
yeah,
After 10 years, I made some really good decisions that ended up being the best business decisions that ever happened, even better than the first one.
uh-huh.
And I also made some really bad business decisions that I would never do again.
But
But
that's
yeah,
learning, right?
you got to learn all the time. I hope and
Yeah,
my and so in those regards, like what kind of advice would you say as being in business for 10 years, or what kind of things have you learned that could help others? Maybe if you wanted to point a couple of them out, general kind of like business kind of things, because there's lots of people that want to know how successful people make it work, and you're successful. So tell us some secrets.
well, it's like so weird to be like you're successful too, because
I'll
like
tell you.
sometimes I don't, you don't see it, as you know challenges of life come happen, like that's totally, or just you're in the day to day,
If you got 17 people with your name on their checks, then you're successful. Or a name on the check that goes to in a bank account that's yours.
yeah,
That's to me, that's one way I would measure success is someone that's able to provide a business where others can also create a living from. That's successful to me.
yeah, no, totally, I 100%, I see it and I'm like, this is bigger than I thought it was gonna be, because really, yeah, I mean, I wish I would have those pictures of me in my home kitchen, like, and I was too scared to take pictures, which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
crazy,
definitely. Get it.
and yeah, it is. You know, I just really gotta say it's showing up, man. It's
All right.
showing up even when you don't want to, or you don't think that this is gonna work out, or whatever. You just gotta show up and just keep walking the path every day.
Yeah.
And it changes. I feel like my job has changed many times over, too. It's like, I was a
Yeah.
cook, I was a delivery driver, I was this, I was that. I've been a sales rep, I've been the team's like sales manager. I've done all of it.
Yeah.
I really do think that's like another thing that really helps.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
like talk about doing all of it, you know?
Yeah.
And
That's a great point.
you know, like, but then now at this point, it's like, okay, like I've done all that. I got to start doing the things that I'm too scared to do, you know, because I was doing all that other stuff, you know, so that wasn't holding me back, but that gave me the foundation to do this other stuff that I have to do, you know, like I
Yeah.
have to be aware of how to go to the next levels and what that looks like and how to create and how to be a visionary and keep the brand and keep the momentum going.
Yeah, you have a foundation to operate from. It's this 10 years of experience and doing it all and trying a lot of things and working with lots of different people. And now you have like a family of 17 people, you said. This is like, that's legit. I remember I was in that point at one point in 10 years. I'm like, whoa, I got 23 people or whatever it was, 17.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And just the idea that like, um, together we're doing something, making a difference in all these different ways, and there's a lot of benefits, and there's a lot of attachments too. That when you go home at night, it's I just came out of a little therapy session earlier today, talking about some of this kind of stuff too. Just like letting go of your work stuff when you go home, or putting the phone
Yeah.
and this kind of stuff. What do you do to help disconnect when you get as an entrepreneur and someone doing all these things? What besides maybe eating a couple space gems? What else can you do to help disconnect?
You know, definitely I just went to Yosemite and I'm so grateful because I've never been, you know.
Picture. Wow, did you hike all the way up there?
I did. I even hiked with Hezekiah, who's 6. It was crazy. And he did it and like he's amazing for it, you know. Uh Definitely it's really hard for me to disconnect sometimes. You know, I feel that I struggle with it, you know.
Yeah.
Uh Definitely like part of my job is ordering packaging, you know. So I work with China a lot and so they work at night. So I work at night, you know,
Yep.
and
Yep.
so that's disconnect also. Yeah, I really struggle with disconnecting and finding the balance of mom life for my son and just life for Wendy, who she is, you know, and work life of the demands of what it means to be at these levels, you know.
For
Definitely take
sure.
space jobs. Uh, Sometimes I take a too much. Obviously, that happened yesterday, and but yeah, then I just get goofy and, just like it's all gonna work out. It's all gonna work out. Just
Right.
elevate, write, write your to-do list. It'll work out,
Yeah. Follow through.
follow
Yeah.
through.
Um,
Execution. Execution is a huge thing, dude. That
follow.
is something about business, like successful people. You can have all the ideas you want, but the execution of that idea can take months. Like my gummy recipe took me 6 months, dude. Six
Right.
months of trying, like, yeah, 6 months. And then to come to find out, I had to cut each individual one to make it work. That was my execution, like,
Right.
yeah, I don't know. Just when
Have
you
them
said
like
that, this
have
came
them
to
like cured a certain way and all this.
what? Oh, sorry.
Sure. I say you
Yeah.
probably have to have them like cured a certain way or dried a certain way, and to have,
Mm,
whatever. There's this whole science to what you're
there's
doing.
a whole science to it. You can have all the ideas you want, but
Yeah.
execution. Yeah. Going through the process.
Yeah. 6 months dialing that in, I'm sure, and I'm sure there was years of R&D before that that led you just to that point.
Oh no, it was 6 months of me like figuring out that I needed to cut them. So
Oh,
just 6 months of like that. The other part, yeah.
just one
But
thing.
that happened to me in a yoga class. So I figured that out in a yoga class, like, so it's good when you like separate yourself from something and then come back.
So yoga is something that you do, or at least have done, that helps you disconnect, and also is that
Yeah, meditating, definitely,
right?
try.
Nice. No, these things are
Yes.
important. I'm just pointing those out because
Oh yeah, that's true.
the more important it becomes to disconnect, it becomes obvious to people who are, um, overworkers or firing on all cylinders all the time that if you do actually unplug a little bit, the battery does recharge.
The battery does
So
recharge.
you have to
Yeah.
you have to take care of your head.
You really do got to take care of the head. Yeah,
Yeah,
because they can go there, dude.
for sure. And
They
so
can go there. Yep.
so so parenting and working sound like two things that take up a lot of your time.
Oh
What
my
else?
god, I have to homeschool my kid. So that was like probably like the biggest challenge ever this year. Definitely homeschooling my 6-year-old, teaching him how to read and write. I was like, definitely, yeah,
Wow.
thank you, Gavin Newsom. You're amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, homeschooling. I always thought, before I had a kid, uh, oh, if I had a kid, I'd do the homeschool thing. And like for us, we didn't choose to do that, and I never have. And I can see the ups and downs of it, but also like being like a serial kind of entrepreneurial person myself. I don't know how in the world that would have worked. Like, uh, I wasn't really good at like being in school and doing all that. So trying to teach, I don't know. I'm not the best teacher, to be honest. I don't think I'm the best teacher. So I'm
I
glad
think I'm a great teacher, but I'm not. All right, but I think I am. Like, you get it, right? You get it. Like,
you got this, right, kid?
no, you got this. No. Yeah, learning. But I do gotta let my kids know that they mean more to me than Space Jam. I think that that is a very big, thing that also came out.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like as we have jobs, entrepreneurs, it's all our life, or yeah,
Yeah, it's a struggle sometimes,
yeah, totally.
but it's something that drives certain people, and like when I wake up in the morning, I'm just like trying to solve problems already and stuff because I have
Yes,
like hypervigilance
yeah,
from like growing up the way I did and whatnot. So I wake up and I'm like feeling like I got to fix shit. But the way that like comes out in the world is like I go out and get a whole bunch of shit done, and people are like, "Oh, look, he's getting a bunch of things done." So it's really like you can turn these, you know, things you have into a positives, even if they come from a negative place and stuff. And I think, a lot of driven people I meet have a
yeah.
similar path, Um, so I'm curious, like, I met you here in McKinleyville, I'm pretty sure. So I wouldn't, I always guess that no one's from McKinleyville, but
No,
um,
I'm not from
some,
McKinleyville,
some people
obviously.
are. I'm sure you're not from McKinleyville, but I'm curious, where are you from, Wendy, and like how where are you from?
Oh, I'm
How did
from
you grow up?
Chicago, from like the
Chicago.
south side of Chicago, Park
Yeah,
Forest.
right on.
I lived there until I was like 18, and
Yeah.
I went on fish tour,
And the rest is history.
and the rest is history. Yeah, I moved out to Humboldt when I was 21, and definitely like welcomed with Grateful Dead family, and really grateful, and the fact that you can make a living growing and trimming, cannabis, and that's like part of your life, and I won't get arrested, and I definitely like I do live in a unicorn rainbow world in my mind. It's like I feel growing up was like a really hard, harsh reality of what life could be, and I
Uh-huh.
feel like I totally run from that,
Yeah.
of and failure, just
Yeah.
like the word failure,
Yeah.
of like making people proud of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. My mom and my dad like worked like 12-hour days, was definitely home a lot by myself. Have an older sister.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, like yeah, yeah. dancing to Whitney Houston in the front room, or whatever I thought, yeah, MTV, yeah.
Did you say you have two sisters?
I have one sister.
Sorry, yeah, one sister. Cool.
Yeah, totally. Her name is Rachel, and she's like a really high person actually at Stitch Fix, so she's totally smart and very go-getter too, which is really crazy.
Yeah,
Our brains work a lot alike.
that's cool.
Yeah. So my mom was definitely the breadwinner in the family. So growing up, she definitely worked a lot, and yeah. I don't think like my mom ever like loved her job, so that's something like it's really important to me to love your job.
Yeah, yeah, good for you. That's something I think I learned early too, and gravitated towards things that I just saw. I don't remember exactly the first time I heard it, but just the concept of like, if you do something you like, you'll never work a day of your life, kind of thing.
Yeah, totally. And it's like crazy. I was like thinking about even like yesterday, like I got so into my head, just for the interview. I ate Space Joes. I think, well, I did eat them, but just like it's like crazy. Is that work? When you get like into your head and like things don't work out, or is it
Right.
just like does the universe be like, this isn't right, Wendy? Like,
Yeah.
don't try again. Try again tomorrow.
Right. Well, often I find like because I don't take the timeouts personally, that every now and again, boom, I'll just have to be like, oh, can't help, and it'll
Yeah.
sometimes come. The universe always, Jah will provide.
Yeah, I
The
guess
universe
so.
always kind of gives us what we want and what we need and all that stuff. And, a little time out is always good. Really, it's like I used to daydream often, but when you're busy all the time, you don't even have time to daydream, right? The unicorns and rainbows, like you're saying, we gotta have
Yeah.
time to daydream to get those critters cruising around and stuff.
I know that's actually something, just like when you're like the next level, it's like you really do got to give yourself that time and space to daydream and to, like count the unicorns in the day, or, like what the next unicorns look like, or, I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. To me, that's what that says to me. Like what you're saying to me, it totally your branding's great. It just really you really do embody the brand with like not a lot of brands are just like some artist came up with something cool. You know what I mean? So this to me means a whole lot different. I've had some of those early day ropes and stuff where you like take a little nibble and you're like, yeah, hoo ha. There's just been some
Uh,
really delicious flavors and just like I just remember the first time being like, no way, you got a whole rope, like that's the shit.
Oh my god, like those little nerd ropes I used to make. I kind of
Yeah,
forget. Like I forgot the things I started with,
those things so good. Oh my god, we used to drool. You would eat them, and before you forgot about it, you'd be drooling on the couch.
It's like crazy, like back in the day when I like would stand in front of my booth and like have samples out, how people would like take one or two. There's definitely like things that have happened, like why we're not allowed to do sampling like that, like in Humboldt, is because of me. I don't want to deny that because it has, at the Golden Tarp Awards, this guy in front of everyone like ate and then got really high and then talked about it. At another event, this older man got really high that he had to have his wife come pick him up.
Oh yeah,
Like there's been like things that have happened that I can't deny that
right.
wasn't because of me. And like those nerd ropes and stuff, like man, yeah, it's hard. Oh my god, like the lollipop, like one year at the Emerald Cup, like I ate it too much. I was like, I can't move anything. We're gonna have to take a moment.
It
It was
happens.
pouring down rain.
It happens. It has the dosage on there.
Yeah,
Clear.
but back in the
But,
day,
yeah,
I did have stuff lab tested, but still, like it's just different.
and it was, and that's the thing with candy too. It's just it's good. You want to eat more. It's like you eat a whole bag of candy. You're like, oh shit, what did I just do there?
Oh my god. I couldn't believe that guy had to have his wife come pick him up. Like I'll never forget that in Southern Humboldt. Like that was like
I've been there. You know, everyone's had their experience with overdosages, and a lot of times it happens like early on. You have your first experience with the overdose.
Yeah.
Like brownies, usually like somebody cooked, or like the
Cookie,
classic
yeah.
brownies or cookies. Somebody just like doses it up too strong, and then boom. But I
Yeah.
remember some of those early times. And do you go back to Chicago to visit often?
No,
Get back
actually,
there
I haven't been
much?
back. My parents moved to Florida, so they live in Florida. So I've been there. I haven't like really went back for like over like 7 years or something. So
Okay, cool. Do you
yeah, I
remember the
don't.
first time you got high over there?
Oh, what?
The first time you got high growing up?
In Chicago, yeah. I feel like my sister gave me weed, or at a fish show. I don't really exactly like remember that exact moment but I did totally smoke weed. All through high school, I feel like that was the only way to can get myself through because I did not like it at all, uh, and I did not want to be there. I would ditch and leave school all the time. It was like a big problem. I was just
Uh,
like, this shit's stupid. So, but I did graduate. So,
yeah, yeah,
I learned to play the game eventually. It's just a
yeah,
game, right?
yeah.
Like, yeah,
There's like different things to learn in life, and some if you can learn some of them at school, great. But a lot of the real important ones you can't really learn at school. It's like
yeah.
you learn in the play yard, or you learn on the bus or the bus stop, or you don't learn it sitting there at the class and in the book.
No, you don't.
No.
No, and what they were teaching us, I don't know. I didn't go to the best school. So I didn't, that wasn't,
Yeah.
yeah.
Same.
Yep. I was just, I realized I was different. I feel like that's what, yeah. Once you start to realize that,
Yeah.
yeah. Yep. And then you just go from there. Is it getting busy there?
Yeah, no, there's some people popping in here. Hopefully they're getting some space gems. Can't get these-
Hopefully.
They can't get these two because I already snatched these two at home.
Oh my God. I was like, look, I was like, see, I was like, this is like one of the first logos. Oh,
Nice.
like little rainbow candy created with joy and laughter for our well-being. It's like so
So many
crazy.
candy. Nice, dude.
Like they used to be in like this thing too.
Oh, snap.
I know when I like tried to like redo my branding, it was like a whole thing. Branding is like really hard. Definitely had a girl, Shalise, who did this packaging, and she did such a great job.
Whoever did
Dude.
that did a great job, but at the same time, you put so much of like yourself into your brand that it's like it needs to be represented right. This is it. Bam.
Yeah, totally. She used to work for
Love that.
me, and then she started to do graphic work, and yeah, she embodied it. She did such a great job.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
such a
really
great job.
one of the best, you know, examples of branding that I've seen in the market, honestly. And
It's so funny you say that. It's so funny that people say that just because of what people have said to me over the years. Like
oh,
it's
it's so
too hippie-ish, it's too this, it's too that. Everyone has their freaking opinions.
yeah,
But I feel like now it's like to a place where people are like, yes, that's Space Jam.
yeah. Well, you've done the work and showed up and followed through to create a consistent product that retailers in the market can depend on, and therefore just easily reorder.
Yeah.
Once you get to the reorder status, you're in the mix, right?
Right, totally. Yeah, it's telling, and it is, just with retail and stuff, you do got to be able to tell your story. Once I feel like people are like, oh, this is her story, like it's totally different, like
It
then
is.
you see it, but I totally get shit about the fact that the flavors aren't labeled, how it's a rainbow. I mean, people
Yeah.
like, I can't even imagine what people think when they like haven't that when they first meet me and then I start talking and they're like, "Who this girl is a cosmic hippie chick or something, dude. She is out there."
I hope so, right?
Definitely. At least it's not, yeah. They're like, whoa, I don't know.
Well, we are different up here. Our community, the cannabis community of people that are closer to the plant, are a very creative bunch.
Yeah, really creative. You know, the fact that we've been able to make this our life and been able to do the things that we've been able to do in our life, you know, and
Sure. Wow,
quality of life, right?
it is. I mean, trying to live a certain lifestyle has always been behind a lot of the subcultures or whatever they want to call us, you know. But behind this whole cannabis community, a lot of it has been lifestyle, right? It's like
Yeah.
people take. When I moved to Humboldt, a few things I noticed were people took long vacations. People worked all year to take vacations, and um, people kind of woke up a little later in the day, generally speaking, and there wasn't a whole lot going on at night, generally speaking, neither. You know, it's like just a different approach to life. You know, a step back in some ways, and also a progressive mindset to where you can have, you know, you can just create what you need in a sense by controlling your output,
Yeah.
right? You're not stuck to this like 9 to 5 thing that everyone's doing, blah 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 blah. You see people kind of control, not always under control, sometimes out of control, and sometimes people guess wrong. But there used to be a day, maybe it's still that way, where you can control your income by how much energy you put into that,
Yeah.
right? Versus being caught in this like
Yeah.
thing, you know, and it's like it's hard to see that sometimes through the day to day stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But I think that's really, to me, it was always lifestyle. I opened my own grow shop because I wanted to work for myself. I wanted to hang out with a bunch of, you know, unicorn riding hippies all day, and I wanted to like help people grow plants. I was like, this is going to be awesome, you know. And so that's why I did what I was doing, and it was a lifestyle around it too. It was, I knew it would involve a lot of ganja growing friends and family, and like that was the center of what I was doing, my universe, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's
Totally.
part
That's
of the
awesome.
I did it
I mean,
too. But I want to go see fish too on summer tour, you know.
yeah, you know, yeah. I mean, it is like what you have built is legendary, you know, like we will always, it's pretty crazy, Steve, you know, like, I mean, I don't know, Space Jam would have been Space Jam without, you know, like McKinleyville, you know, like that is,
McKinleyville wouldn't have been what we were without Space Jam,
yeah, it's like,
without what you know, we did all this together. It's like I'm right here in the parking lot, and I look out there now, and it's like, well, there's an appliance store in where the NHS used to be, but down the other end, we got our Gondry distribution company. We're over here trying to sell Humboldt County cannabis to the rest of the nation, the
yeah,
state,
state, yeah,
and then the nation. You know,
yeah,
and we're in this for the long haul, and I'm glad you are too. And I look forward to continuing to work together from a distance and closer, and however it works. But we are doing this together. This is a legendary part of life that we stepped into together.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Sure, I built a business and lots of people helped, and we did
yeah,
crazy things. And
yes.
closed now, a lot of them, and we're going through different changes in our community, you know?
Yeah, we are. That's something that like I really want to touch on too. It is really, you know, we are going through crazy changes in this community, you know,
It is. And like,
like what it's going to look like in 10 years and 5 years.
yeah,
A lot of my friends have moved away. A lot of my friends are moving away.
yeah, yeah. I feel
And,
you. And
and
in
it's
10 years from
changing.
now, we'll have
But
kids moving around and stuff, you know?
yeah, but I
Like,
love it. I love Humboldt. I love Humboldt. I'm so appreciative of it. You know, it's like you could always just go to Moonstone, you know, and Moonstone will just, the beach will just center you, go in that cave, go get some pea water on you or something that smells that, I don't even know what that smell is in there, but it's something, you know? And yeah, and I love cannabis, and I really feel if I wouldn't do what I would do, then someone wouldn't give it me. You know, I feel like it
yeah,
would be different, and they would not be what Space Jam is today. You know, they don't have that vision or the touch or, you know.
Yeah. There's been a lot of things come and go, and like 10 years is a testament to a business and to an idea and whatnot. And you know, leaders are what our community needs most right now.
Yeah.
We've thinned down, you know, and so our leaders,
Yeah.
you know, when I moved here, like the leaders of the community were mostly people nobody really knew unless you like it was backwoods people and warriors,
Yeah.
weed warriors, and people running big scenes and this kind of stuff, or somebody that had, you know, whatever, just these like legendary cats from up on the hill and all this kind of stuff. And now we're in a different place. Some of our leaders are on stage at the Emerald Cup. You
I couldn't believe that moment. I was like, that's the best Mother's Day gift ever. I know my son Atreyu is like, definitely the Emerald Cup has like been a thing for him for sure. You know, it's like, yeah, just working, all of it, you know, just all the stuff that comes along with all that stuff, you know,
Yeah.
being a business owner and having a kid, single mom, kids totally into it. So
Yeah, it's not no we can't anymore. It's yes we can, you know.
yeah, I really feel like that is something different too, you know? Like how do you vision bigger than here but still keeping it here, you know? Like yes we can, we will, we'll get there, and we'll make fucking Humboldt proud and good
Definitely.
representation because they deserve it and they put in the work and yeah, you know, like cheers to the like I don't see the weed anymore that makes me talk to walls. You know, like
Right.
that weed that was like grown in the traditional market back then, like sometimes I talk to walls. You know, I just get so high. Okay, Wendy, pull it together. You got this. You know, like
Right.
I yeah, I don't know if that time will come back just with the fact of, you know, distribution, like the supply chain and all this stuff that comes along
Yeah.
with the hoopah.
Yeah, and all the different genetics that people want based on different marketing and different, you know, um, industry trends and different whatever. You know, it's all different.
It's all
Uh,
different, you know, it's
out there.
all different, you know, totally. You know, I do see with this, like, you know, edibles thing is like the whole strain thing and this and that. And I don't know, like, I've never believed in lying. I'm not, you know, I used to do BHO and I will never forget those people in Southern Humboldt. I used to have like food color in my product at the very beginning, and I'll never forget that lady, Southern Humboldt, like that basically shared with me the information. You know, like I don't think I would have went to Ice Water Hash if it wasn't for you know, like people speaking their mind and saying how you can make it different and make us proud, especially to the old timers who've been here forever. You know,
Oh
and
yeah.
yeah.
Well, you're definitely doing that. You know, you definitely making us proud.
Well, we'll just keep
Facts.
going. You know, just being a woman, I also just have to say, just being a woman in cannabis is totally different, you know? Like, it's
Yeah.
like I get treated completely differently. So that was like really awesome to be recognized, you know? Because people, it's just crazy, just an observer, you know? And definitely, I was like taught etiquette being from Humboldt, you know, from the very beginning. And yeah, it's definitely an interesting world that we live in here. And really grateful that they recognize me. It feels really, really good. Like I'm not just some candy lady, you know, and more than that. And it's medicine, it helps people, and it's crazy. The emails that people send me, and they're the sweetest, nicest things ever. And they really help those days where it's hard. So,
Yeah, I guess making medicine like some. I mean, I know this too, but I guess really because I haven't been in this exact position, but one time I was selling like, well, I guess I have, but I don't get the emails as the maker does of the product necessarily as a distributor or a reseller. You get them when somebody makes a medicine that you take and it has a certain effect on you. Sometimes you really want to share with them. So
Yeah.
I'm sure that that's amazing. That's probably fulfilling to hear these stories and gives purpose to the
Yeah.
creations that you've made and stuff. And is there any one story that you would want to share or something that sticks out in your mind about an impact that Space Gems has had with someone they've shared with you about?
Yeah, there's been actually like so many. Like I really, I do remember one time at the Eagle House. I think it was like for the HCGA buyers event that they had there. Um, this lady was like standing next to me, and it took her a little bit to come over to me, but she basically said that her mom took Space Gems at the end of her life, and for breast cancer, and just she cried. I cried. I still get goosebumps. But I've heard that a lot. People come up to me and say those things to me a lot, and it is really magical, and I'm so grateful. And
Yeah,
I never. It's really, yeah. You just create something and you make it, and it goes out, and you don't know where it goes.
it's
And
true.
like the stories that come back, like hospice takes, San Francisco Hospice uses these like one-to-ones for end of life care. Like there's things that, yeah, yeah, it's just,
No,
yeah,
no, thanks for sharing that. It's true. Like I remember lots of experiences. I could talk about them, but that's not necessarily what I was aiming to do. But I just have these direct emotions connected to others who have gone through
yeah.
healing directly related to medicine that I've given them or made or grown or whatnot in different forms. In fact, I got a couple jars out in the car there that are going to go to Chicago somehow or another, apparently, for like Swislow's sister, who really found some healing in some CBD, THC, Harley Sue medicine I made, and
Oh, that's awesome.
that kind of stuff. But I'm still super connected to that feeling that you get from the healing of this amazing medicine. It's like it's easy to forget how medicinal this stuff is. But that's where all this energy comes from around all that we're doing is this like magical, medicine.
Yeah, because it is magic. This is magic, and this is a plant, and definitely, yeah, it's just crazy. Like my mom takes all these pills and stuff, just to get through her day. And I'm just like, you could just do cannabis, and I don't know.
100%. Yeah, no, I agree. It's the healing of the nation, and sometimes just good branding can help get it to people, or good salespersonship.
Yeah. Or just realize like this plant like really does heal, like help with cancer. It does help with things, quality of life, joy, laughter. Life gets hard, man. Like you got to change the vibes. Sometimes you get too high, but that's okay too. You just
Oh,
can't do an interview,
I
like.
was gonna say the first rule of Space Jams is don't get high on your own supply.
Oh my god,
No, but
I
I'm looking
know
forward
it
to
is
actually.
real.
I'm definitely gonna eat some of these myself this evening. I'm gonna go with the effects and see how that feels. I got a few things to do, cook, do a couple chores and stuff. So one to one,
Life, adulting.
a little one to one isn't bad for that. I like working with that myself.
Yeah, I like the one to ones. It keeps me like talking, keeps going. Definitely like keeps my anxiety, or going to a grocery store and not wanting to go, or doing dishes. Love is in the laundry, like life, adults. Yeah, yeah, totally. CBD is good.
Yeah, might as well enjoy life.
Yeah, because it's amazing. It's amazing every day. new things, new challenges, new mountains.
It's like the
Yeah,
quality of life definitely follows the plan around. I think that's one kind of like hidden message I didn't know was going to come out of our
yeah,
conversation today, but I would say that that's definitely a theme. Is that the
yeah,
quality of life seems to follow this plant around, enjoying the environment even just to that degree. You know, and
yeah. Quality of life is super important. I was like, what are we gonna look like? We're 90, dude. Like that's like what I'm like talking, like thinking about now. What am I gonna look like when I'm 90? Like
yeah,
it's gonna hurt. I still gotta move my body. I
yeah,
still like doing yoga and space jams is the best. Like
right on. Yeah. Well, no, I've had a great conversation today, and I've gotten to know a lot of things. I'm super stoked. Actually, this was a good one.
this is
Yeah, I think our visuals are looking good. We got the old school and the new school.
Yeah, this is Tori. I do have to say, this is Tori DiPaio. You'll have to give her a shout because she like you didn't. Yeah,
Let's go.
totally.
Yeah, nice work.
Yeah, totally. Hey, thank you, Steve. It's such a great honor that you asked me to do the interview, and super grateful. It's crazy how full circle life goes.
Yep.
As yeah, am really appreciative, and I have to send love to you and your family, especially. Like we have the same midwife, and yeah, and we've known each other for years, just in and out, all because of G.
Yeah.
Like G's like always the facilitator of all that stuff. So
It's good
it's
like that.
good to disconnect on these levels and
Totally.
share life and yeah, like send out the good vibes of cannabis.
Yeah, no, thank you for doing what you do and for working hard to create something that our whole community can enjoy and be proud of as well. And thanks for supporting the things I've done through the years. Uh,
Totally.
it's really been good to get to know more about you, and I hope a lot of people that watch this and are listening to this follow your page and go check out the products because that's also the other reason I'm doing this because you have some dang stuff, and I want to make sure people tap in. So hopefully they will go look for this in your local dispensary. If they don't have it, tell them you demand Humboldt. You demand
Dude, man,
Humboldt
humble.
products. Get the space gems on your shelf.
I, I really have to say, like, I just really like it is like an honor for me to be just like, just as I'm just like stoked, like as a thank you for the space, as not many people ask, and so just to yeah, I really thank you for the space.
Thank you. I'd love to have you on again sometime. We'll have to make this a thing.
Awesome, sounds
Definitely.
great.
Yeah.
Oh
Thanks so
yeah.
much, Wendy. You're the best.
All right, your best. Have a great day. Happy
Thanks.
High Day.
You too. It's Happy High Day. It's Friday. It's like 5:30 now, and we hope everybody had a great time with us. I hope you have a great weekend, and thanks for coming out into the cannabis. We'll talk.
Yeah, awesome. Yay,
Yeah.
bye.